Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual tabling, which today we will talk about the importance of sleep. So not a lot of people get, the required amount of sleep that, we need for each night. And so we're going to talk about, why sleep is so important for us, as well as different ways that we can get more quality sleep each night. So let's get started. So what exactly is sleep? So it's an essential function, and there's two kind of main forms of sleep. We have three different stages of non-REM sleep, and we have a stage of REM sleep. And REM sleep is probably one of the more important pieces of sleep, because this is where a lot of our body actually does a lot of healing for us. And these cycle throughout the night until you wake up each morning. So you might actually go through this cycle of these three stages of non-REM sleep, and then that final stage of REM sleep. You'll go through those multiple times a night. So why is adequate sleep so important? So what kind of the main thing that, when we think about sleep is this keeps us safe and alert, just because, once we go to bed, we're not fatigued, and so then, we're more alert, and we're able to make decisions more clearly, so things like that. But it also plays a lot of different important roles in our daily lives. So for example, it helps maintain hormone balances. So ghrelin, which makes us feel hungry, it keeps us in balance. Leptin, which also makes us feel full, keeps that in balance. And then it also plays a role with insulin. So it allows us to, help our bodies use our sugar in our blood for energy. And like I said before, it also, our body heals itself during sleep, so it's important, again, to kind of make sure you get into that REM sleep. And then it also supports our immune system. So again, keeping us well, keeping us healthy. And then even for children and teenagers, it helps support their growth and development, which is another reason why, getting a good amount of sleep is actually very important. So what are the risks of getting poor sleep? Which is kind of a weird thing to say if you think about it. But there are some, increased risks for, if you get consistently poor nights of sleep. So for example, you might have an impaired immune system because you're not getting enough sleep. And even there are studies that have found that there's also an increased risk in heart disease, an increased risk of diabetes, and an increased risk of obesity if you get poor sleep. So how much sleep do we exactly need? So adults, 18 and older, of course, that's when we kind of say, the 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. But when we're younger, it actually is quite a bit more. So if you see on this chart here, like children underneath of 5 and younger need at least 10 hours a day. You can even see with infants, from 4 to 12 months old, they'll need 12 to 16 hours. But generally, we want to make sure that we're getting that 7 to 8 hours a day if we're an adult. And then it kind of scales down, or scales up, the younger that we are. So now we'll go over different ways that you can get more quality sleep. So one thing you can try is sticking to a sleep schedule. So making sure you go to bed and waking up at the same time each day, including the weekends, which I know it can be, it's not as fun to, the weekends are a nice time to be able to sleep in, but in order so that we get consistently good sleep each day, it's important that we go to bed and wake up at the same time. And this helps regulate our, internal clock, our circadian rhythm. And one thing you can use to kind of help establish a sleep schedule for yourself is to use a sleep diary. And so just making, just kind of following the prompts, what time did you go to bed? What time did you try to fall asleep? What time did, estimating what time you actually did fall asleep. So just answering those questions each night so you can get a feel of your sleeping habits. And then another important thing you can try is avoiding caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. So caffeine can actually affect us for up to 8 hours. So if you go to bed at 9, just as an example, if you eat if you drink something with caffeine, like let's say you have a coffee at 2, 3 in the afternoon, you might not think that something like that would affect you 5, 6 hours later, but it can actually affect you up to 8 hours later. And this also does include, eating things like chocolate, because chocolate does have a little bit of caffeine in it. Nicotine, making sure you don't smoke before going to bed, because nicotine is actually a stimulant and that can keep you awake. But then avoiding alcohol. When we think of alcohol, we think it makes us drowsy, it can make us tired. And the problem with alcohol, using alcohol to sleep or drinking before sleeping, is that alcohol can actually prevent you from entering the deeper stages of sleep. So, you're not getting to that final stage of non-REM sleep, and then you're also not necessarily getting to that final stage of REM sleep. And that's where your body does most of the healing. That's where your body actually also dreams. And so alcohol can prevent you from reaching those more deeper stages, and you won't get a restful night of sleep if you drink beforehand. Another thing you can try is to exercise regularly. So how this kind of impacts sleep is exercise raises our body temperature, and then as our body temperature falls, we start to become more drowsy and tired. And so it's that, drop in temperature that helps us fall asleep and stay asleep. It's best to exercise in the morning and afternoon. You can also exercise in the evening, but you don't want to exercise, within like a couple hours of falling asleep, because then your body temperature won't have that chance to fall, and so then you'll be still awake. And in addition, exercise provides us with numerous other health benefits as well. So it's so in addition to helping us with for example weight, lowering our blood pressure, improving our mood, exercise also plays a pretty important role in helping us get better sleep. Another thing you can try is relaxing 1 hour before bed. So excuse me. So that would mean kind of avoiding electronics that give off a bright light, so using your computer, using a phone, things like that. One thing you can try is using relaxation techniques, so deep breathing, meditation is also very popular. And then avoiding avoiding that strenuous exercise, an hour or two before you go to bed. That way, your body temperature isn't super raised high, and you can give yourself that time for your body temperature to go down, and that can help improve your sleep. And another thing you can try too is taking a warm bath. That can also help with sleeping and getting a better night's sleep. And so that is all that I have for you today. As always, let us know if you have any questions. You can comment down below, or you can email us at healthpromotion@glick.net. And so I will